Spacious skies for amber waves of grain.
Get started. A copy of the Open Meetings Act is located on the north wall of the legislative chambers, and an automatic external defibrillator is available on the back wall of the legislative chambers. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We're going to start by just opening the Douglas County Board of Commissioners meeting first, and we're going to do the recognitions of the employees, and then we'll recess and go back to the Board of Trustees. So we'll start again with the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. Roll call, please.
Here.
Commissioner Kraft.
Here.
Commissioner Morgan.
Here.
Commissioner Rogers.
Here.
Madam Chair.
Here. And again, we'll move to recognitions and proclamations, the first being a recognition of County employee Lee Legier for retiring from Douglas County Civil Service Human Resources after 10 years of service. And I would ask all those who are here to honor Lee from his department or the Civil Service Commission to please come forward. You guys all come down and stand by Lee.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Denise Lickey, Chair, Douglas County Civil Service Commission. I'd like to read the resolution. Whereas Douglas County, Nebraska recognizes that its employees are the county's most important asset and resource for providing quality services to the citizens of Douglas County. Whereas the county wishes to recognize Mr. Lee Legier of Douglas County Civil Service Human Resources on his retirement and for his dedicated services for 10 years at Douglas County, Nebraska. Now, thereof, be it resolved by the Board of the County Commissioners, Douglas County, Nebraska, that the county recognizes Mr. Lee Legier for his dedicated service to the citizens of Douglas County and thankfully presents this resolution as testimony thereof, dated 31st day of March, 2015.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
With that, Mr. Dunning would like to say some words.
I'm probably the longest serving member of the Civil Service Commission, so I just want to say that after my 17 years on that board, I've had the opportunity to serve with Lee. I think he's brought a considerable amount of professionalism to that office, making sure that every entity of that office is their own expert, which I think helps all the employees. One thing that he's done that I think has helped is any time that an employee is involved in some sort of an action, it's a hard thing for them, it's a hard thing for their family, and Lee's always tried to, and has been very successful at it, moving those cases along and getting them to the forefront and resolved so people can go on with their lives. So I compliment him for that. Being a fellow prepster, Lee does, bode well to my heart and Jimmy's too, and Tim McNally. Kids that come out of Creighton Prep University usually succeed very well, and Lee is a model for that. So I congratulate Lee, and as you can see, his wife is here today. All of the employees from the HR department are here to congratulate him. So Lee, it's your turn.
Okay.
Thanks, Tim.
Members of the County Board, first of all, I'd like to thank the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences for this Oscar award. Oops, wrong speech. I do want to thank the board for this recognition, and like start off, I thank my wife Linda for her support. The Civil Service Commission over the years for their support. Denise Lickey, Sheriff Tim Dunning, Church of John Ewing, John Larkin, the Corrections Department, B.J. Volchek, the at-large member of the Commission. And of course, a person is only as successful as the people you have around you. So special thanks to Tim McNally, Kathy Adair, Chris Salisbury, Carol Donnelly, Debbie Obiel, Linda Heaton, Linda Wolf, Mark Williams, Linda Osborne, Lori Wright, Kathleen Donahue, and of course a great friend and mentor in Jerry Lee. He hired me back in January of 2005. Now I must admit that a couple of weeks ago at the HR budget meeting, we had the hearing from the board, and I almost changed my mind about retiring because Commissioner Boyle mentioned something about giving a gold watch to those who retired. And then I thought I heard Commissioner Morgan and Commissioner Duda mention a Rolex. Then I thought about it. I said, no, I don't think so. I must be hearing things. I do want to thank the county board for your support for many initiatives and projects. And the CEO's office for their support over the years. So thank you, everyone. And okay, now where's this Academy Award? So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Lee. Commissioner Morgan.
Lee, we did have the plan on the Rolex watch, and Doug Kagan is responsible for making sure that didn't happen.
He bought it.
You know, you wouldn't have had to give that talk if you just stay another 3 or 4 years.
I know. It's just as hard.
I'm sort of the new guy and got to know you 4 years ago, and I just wanted to mention I had the pleasure, Linda, of running 6 miles right next to Lee, trying to inspire him to keep up, and then he inspired me to keep up. And we did run the full 6 miles together.
We did.
And right at the end, I cheated and got a little ahead of him just because of my own little ego. But Lee is just, I mean, one of the pleasures and rewarding factors of serving in government, and it is a reward for all of us that get lucky enough to serve, and I've had that pleasure, is to meet the great staff and the people you get to work with in county government, because the citizens don't really know the employees and what everyone's like. The county commissioners have a great staff. Lee, you've been a great reward to me. To work with someone like you on the pension board and other areas that we've worked on together has truly been the pleasure and the reward for myself to serve in government. The other commissioners serving, even though we don't always agree, is another reward. And I just want to wish you the best. You're just a gentleman in every single way. And take care of yourself, ride your bicycle carefully.
Yeah.
And I did talk to my son-in-law about you're going to be out there to get a new bike soon, if Linda permits that. Anyway, you take care, and thank you so much for what you've given to the citizens of Douglas County and to all of us in serving.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Boyle.
Well, Lee, you really have done a terrific job, and I know you from other places where you've worked, and we've had relationships. And one of the most interesting things about Lee LeJour, and I found out right from the outset, was that I would call and ask about some policy or ask about something, or maybe put my 2 cents in for someone, you know, to be hired, which Civil Service Commission really stands as a silo all by itself, which is a good policy, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And Lee would talk to me, and we would, you know, go over the facts that I presented to him and all that sort of thing. And I thought maybe I had him convinced, and then what I wanted never happened. You know, it was just, he had a way of doing what he needed to do and never offending me, but always such a class act and so educated and well-informed about the policies, as is your staff. Just an amazing staff that's been assembled over the years. And I do want to say this just in closing, that when I left the election commissioner's office, I was there for 11 years. And so they had a ceremony, and I did the same thing you did. I'm just one of those people, I cry at Elf when the movie ends. I cry, and my grandkids just love it when Grandpa's crying, you know. I just am a soft heart. My dad was too. But anyway, so I'm leaving the election office after 11 years. And Tim will appreciate this especially, but anyway, when I left, I had served there 11 years, and they gave me a plaque, and it said, to Mike Boyle for his 7 years of loyal experience. So anyway, I still have it, so. And, but you've done terrific, and you've got every year, not 4 years short. So we're very proud to be associated with you and to the people you've assembled. You've really kept us out of trouble. You've done things fairly, and I just can't think of any other word other than you're the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Lee, I want to echo what they've said as well. When you came, you did bring a level of professionalism to the office that has just kept being built year after year after year, and we really appreciate that. And for our strategic planning items, you just got right on those and started to work on those, and I really do appreciate that. I mean, you take the assignments and the issues and really delve into them and do a good job, as well as all your staff does too. I mean, I appreciate the work. They always come tonight, if it's a budget meeting or if it's an HR committee meeting, they come with good, thorough data to have us kind of mull over and decide which way we want to go. So I really do appreciate all that and your service.
Thank you.
And you will be missed. And having you show the level of emotion that you did tells me that as a public servant, you're still human. And that means a lot, that you haven't lost that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kraft?
Yes, and Lee, when Mike said his 2 cents worth, it reminded me that when I'd ask you a 2-cent question, you'd give me an 8-cent answer. Thank you, Lee.
So thank you again for your service, and thank you all for being here to show your support for Lee.
Thank you.
Come on by. Nice job, as always. Nice job. He said he's going to keep his parking card. I don't know what we're going to do about that. Thank you, everyone. That was really great.
Next, we have an approval of a, oh, I'm sorry, we need to vote, yes. Next, we have an approval of a resolution recognizing our Juvenile Assessment Center Director, Kim Culp, on her retirement from Douglas County, and to present this resolution is our CAO, Patrick Bloomingdale.
Good morning.
Good morning. Anyone here in the audience for Kim, please come forward as well.
Okay. I've been notified that every one of her staff is actually meeting with children right now as part of their jobs, and so therefore they were not able to come. But thankfully.
I shouldn't have been such a hard taskmaster.
So first I'm going to read this resolution, and you will tell right away that I had help with it because of the big words that are in it. So please bear with me. I actually had to arm wrestle Mary Ann and see who could read it, and she obviously won, so here I am. Whereas Kim Culp was hired as the Douglas County Juvenile Assessment Center JAC Director on September 22nd, 2003. And whereas during her tenure as Douglas County's first JAC Director, Kim and her staff helped to improve the lives of over 13,000 at-risk youth in our community by providing them with valuable services that diverted them away from secure detention and reduced the chances they would re-enter the juvenile justice system. And whereas Kim has become highly respected in the juvenile justice and juvenile services communities for her competence, dedication to her work, and empathy and compassion towards the juveniles she serves. And whereas throughout her nearly 35-year career of working with at-risk youth, Kim has been an advocate for restorative justice practices, which focus on a balanced approach of repairing the harm done by an offender, meeting a victim's needs, and holding the offender accountable, while seeking a disposition of the least restrictive sanctions. And whereas she is credited as having been one of the first to implement restorative justice practices in Douglas County for juveniles. And whereas Kim has been a very strong believer in local government and community organization collaboration in order to provide better and more needed wraparound services to at-risk youth, she having personally encouraged countless organizations to start new programs or improve existing programs in order to better serve children. And whereas she remains a strong ally of young people in our community and continues to believe in second chances. And whereas Kim will be greatly missed by her coworkers and friends in Douglas County government, now therefore be it resolved by this Board of County Commissioners, Douglas County, Nebraska, that this board hereby expresses its sincere appreciation to Kim Culp for her 12 years of dedicated service to Douglas County government and to the at-risk youth she has served. And this board further expresses its best wishes in all of her future endeavors. Dated this 31st day of March, 2015.
Get a motion to approve? Please vote. We'll do that first so I don't forget. Patrick?
So I'll just say a few words first, and then I'll let Kim speak. You know, I've been most impressed by Kim over the last 12 years since I've known her by three things, and that is her competence, her work ethic, and her compassion for the youth that she served as the JAC director. Kim, you have truly made a positive impact on the lives and futures of so many of the at-risk youth in our community, and now you can retire knowing that you've truly made a significant difference in their lives. She has elevated the recognition and status of the JAC, and you've positioned it very well to be successful well into the future. So I want to thank you, Kim, for your service to Douglas County, and I wish you only the best in your retirement.
Thank you so much.
That right there for you.
I thought it was going to be okay, but those words were very, very meaningful and very, very nice, and I thank you very much, Patrick. I don't know who helped you write it, but it was Okay, take a deep breath. I just really, really want to thank the county board for the last 12 years, okay, to start the Juvenile Assessment Center, for the county board to take a risk and start something new back in 2003 and to start helping children in a different way. That really appealed to me very, very much. If I can keep kids out, you know, I've worked in this field for 35 years. If I can keep kids out of the system, I think that's the best. Keeping kids with their families, keeping everything working there that you can. So it was just a real pleasure that the county board took that risk to start a new program and then took the risk on me too. Okay, we've worked really hard at the Juvenile Assessment Center, and you know, the first couple of years, well, we weren't exactly sure, but over time, you know, it seems like we've always been there, okay? And I really think that we are making a change in what's happening with kids in the juvenile justice system. So I just want to thank you, and of course I could not have done it. As I said, my staff they're doing appointments right now with kids. We got over 100 cases this week. That's outrageous. We shouldn't get that many. But anyways, we do. So they are very, very busy. But Sean and Shirley are here, the two people that I rely on each and every day to help with every problem that I have. So I just want to thank everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Rogers?
I guess personally, I just want to say I remember my first encounter with the JAG, which was during my last couple of years when I was working in the mayor's office for Mayor Fahey, and they had the dedication, and I ended up coming over there in his stead to be him to dedicate the facility. It's been at least personally, let me say, I've learned a lot. It's hard to think that it's been 10 years, but it's been an ever-evolving 10 years, at least from what I can say I've learned personally from you all, and you particularly, about the accountability of the accountability aspect of the system, but still trying to maintain an element of grace. Grace for that second chance for that kid, and that's been something that at least I've always tried to personally reflect on for my own encounters, but also the the continuing effort that you've pushed for, some programs that it's taken me a couple of years to see, but now, I can see them. So I definitely appreciate that effort from you. And, even though now we're in the FSG effort, I think the board, that board that was here at the time, and whoever the county attorney was at the time that took the chance to start it, I think you all in the board at that time can have great assurance in the effort that the JAG will have in the efforts that we're doing with FSG right now. I mean, it's safe to say that, none of this probably would be there without the JAG as the backbone and the foundation for that first major divergent effort that came out of here. And I hope that as it develops and you see it produce, you continue to take pride in it when you're in retirement. So I want to thank you for your efforts and just commend you on the staff, because you've kept a good staff there and laid a succession for your own track after you leave. So thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kraft?
Yes, and I think it's fair to say that the population at the youth center is down because of the efforts of the JAC. We've seen it go down steadily over the past 12 years. And I think that's something to be very proud of. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Kim, Commissioner Rogers really did say it all. We took a chance and started something new, and we knew we had to do something. And it was painful in the beginning, anytime there is change, but I think your staff showed its strong belief in what you were trying to build over there in order for us to have what we have today. And so with your leadership and your persistence for us to stick with it, I do appreciate that. You've done a great job. And I do appreciate, as you do, the staff that work very hard and with the children and the families, because as we all believe, it's better to keep them out of our juvenile justice system and with their families.
Thank you very much.
With that, would you two like to say anything? No? Okay, that's fine. Kim, do you want to come through so we can shake your hand?
Thank you.
With that, we will, I ask for a motion to recess out of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners and enter into the agenda for the Douglas County Health Center Board of Trustees. Please vote. I will now turn the Board of Trustees meeting over to Commissioner Duda.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is our monthly update from the HMA recommendations. For long-term care, this will serve as our quarterly update for the Community Mental Health Center. And I can tell you, as we get further into implementing the recommendations and we progress, I mean, the wheels are turning, but not so fast that I think we have to have these monthly updates. It's my intent to cut these back to every couple of months or so now. I think we're getting into enough routine things that an update every few months should be sufficient. Having said that, we will turn to the director of the Douglas County Health Center, Jim Turoville, for the update. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, trustees. Did each of you find at your place a copy of the update as of today's date? Okay, great. Jen did distribute them prior to the meeting, so hopefully you all find them. Regarding electronic health record, the computer training room at the health center that we are setting up for students to be able to train at the health center and learn more about electronic health record is progressing well. The tables have been ordered, but they've not arrived yet. And the laptop computers have not been ordered. They will be shortly. The big screen for the wall has been purchased and will be installed soon. and the room will accommodate 16 students when it's completed. And that is up on the second floor, just down the hallway from my office, where the care plan room used to be. For short-term rehab, the clinical liaison applicant interviews have been completed. An offer of employment was issued yesterday to the best applicant. Hopefully she will accept it. We've not heard back yet from her. Interviews are also being scheduled for the admission coordinator. We had 136 applicants for that position. So a lot of people looking for employment. They've narrowed it down to about 40, and they will schedule interviews with those 40 shortly. I think Jen will be working on those today. The highest census we've ever had in the short-term rehab since it opened in the last 6 months has been 16. And just to share with you that yesterday morning we had 15. And yesterday afternoon we had an admission to short-term rehab. We have another one coming in today, so we are at the highest point of 17 that we have had. The census at 100% is 22, and 2 of those rooms are double occupancy, so they're a bit tight, but we'll certainly use them as the need arises. I know I've touched base with Chandra, and she says she's got some other admissions that she's working on for the rest of this week, so things are going very, very well there. And the lastly on there is the wireless network. That contract has been awarded by .com, and I just heard this morning before I came down here that work on that will start April 13th. And it'll take about 3 weeks per floor, from what I heard from last week's meeting, for the installation of that. So that's going to be a real key piece for the electronic health record as well. So, any questions on anything that I have there, I'll be very glad to address them for you. Or
Trustee Boyle.
Yes, Jim, I wanted to ask you on the, if you have it, it'd be nice to hear it. But first of all, was one of the goals of the short-term rehab to produce revenue?
Surely.
Okay. Do you have any figures yet on how that's working out, what our costs are, and what the income is, and if there's a loss or a profit? Do you know that yet?
I personally do not, Commissioner.
Okay.
I can certainly get that for you, though.
That'd be great.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't expect you to have it today.
Sure.
But if you would do that and share it with the other commissioners, that'd be helpful.
You bet. We'll send out an email to you.
Great. Thank you.
Certainly.
Any other questions or comments for Jen? Okay. Yeah, the short-term rehab, I don't know if you were going to speak at all, Chandra, you don't need to. The short-term rehab is really going great, and from all indications. We've gotten into the right area. It's quite a need there.
We do have some big things on the horizon that we're working on, and we're not going to share them yet, but we will when the time is right. So it'll be some neat things going on.
Very good.
So, and it's well utilized. We receive a lot of referrals. The Med Center is our first referral source, and of course then the VA would be our second referral source. So,
very good.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
We did at the regular monthly Board of Trustee meeting yesterday out at the Health Center. We did get the financial report. The budget is running over $1 million to the good so far this year. So things are going well. Thank you, Jim. We will turn next to the Director of the Community Mental Health Center, Sherry Glassnap. Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning, trustees.
Good morning.
You should have a packet in front of you from the Community Mental Health Center, and on page 5 will bring you to date for the day treatment program, and we'll start with the outcome measures. The outcome measures for the day treatment program we measure in conjunction with Region 6 guidelines, and we do those on a quarterly basis. So what I am reporting to you today is from October, November, and December. The first outcome that is established is 90% of day treatment patients will report satisfaction with the program. 100% of our patients discharged during that quarter reported satisfaction with the program. The second one is 90% of patients will report they receive timely access into services, and 94% of those individuals reported that they had timely access into services. And then if you flip over to page 6, our third outcome measure is 65% of day treatment patients will experience a reduction in symptoms or improved functioning. Approved evidence-based assessment tool is utilized, and 94% of the individuals being discharged from the day treatment program reported that they had a reduction in their psychiatric symptomology. The next one is 90% of day treatment patients will not require psychiatric inpatient care, and I am sorry to the public, I did not flip. Let me do that for the people in the audience. go. Okay, 90% of day treatment patients will not require psychiatric inpatient care while receiving services in the day treatment program. And during that quarter, 100% of the patients did not require psychiatric hospitalization while in services. 85% of day treatment patients will not require psychiatric inpatient care within 30 days following completion of the program, and 90% of the patients did not require hospitalization after 30 days after completing the program. The next one, 80% of day treatment patients will have established informal and formal supports upon discharge from services, and 100% of the patients being discharged from services had informal and formal supports established. And the final one is 80% of day treatment patients will successfully complete the program, and 92% of the individuals were considered successfully completing the program. In addition, we were asked how many individuals were hospitalized 90 days after their discharge from the program. And there were 86% of the individuals discharged from the program that did not require psychiatric inpatient care 90 days following their completion of the program. So that's still a very strong success rate for that program. We also wanted to let you know that we have pulled down 74% of our funding from Region 6. We should only be at 67% at this time of the year, so we're doing very well in regard to maximizing the program. In addition to that, we are also billing Medicaid and Medicare for individuals who have Medicaid and Medicare services. So the revenue is coming in strong for that program. And then also wanted to remind you that due to the Title 206 regs, we are now able to bill half days in the day treatment program, where historically the state would not allow us to do that. So that's also a positive change for that program. Any questions on the day treatment statistics? Yes, sir.
Trustee Boyle.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, I'm very impressed with the presentation. It's very readable. I appreciate that very much. I want to ask you on the third line from the bottom, where you have 86%, 18 of 21 did not require inpatient care. Is this for the months of October, November, and December?
That is for individuals discharged October, and November, and December, and then we follow up 90 days after their discharge to make sure that they were not hospitalized.
Okay, so how many patients did you have in day treatment?
I don't have that stat in front of me, but I can give you that if you want a specific breakdown for each month. Is that what you would like?
Well, I don't want you to go to a lot of extra reporting, but what I'm looking for is I'm concerned that there are, and I'm sure you are too, that there are people out there who are not getting treatment, and I really am curious, and I think we need to I know you have worked quite a bit with trying to figure out how to up your numbers, you know?
We have.
Make sure that the people that need help are getting help. I also know that you're working very closely with corrections, which is a terrific partnership that was developed. And I might say that this is not common in government for your kind of an operation to be operating, and cooperating with corrections, trying to find solutions. So I applaud you for that. Also, I'm wondering, and we're doing some things with housing, aren't we, or are we? Is that really what corrections is working with? Or when these folks get out, I mean, do we know that they have a place, a roof over their head?
From the day treatment program?
Yes, or I guess because they're coming from someplace and coming to you, so they must have a place to live, right?
They do have a place to live, and that is usually established while they're in the inpatient psychiatric setting, and that can be a variety of programs, residential programs. It could be their own housing. There are some individuals that are in shelters that come into the program as well.
Could you use, this is probably a ridiculous question, but could you use some kind of support, housing to which you could refer these people?
We could. There's always a need for housing for individuals. That is something that the community has worked on through HUD and through the region. There's housing vouchers and things like that, but there always appears to be a shortage of housing for individuals, especially I'm blanking on the terminology for the housing, but housing first, the housing first model, where individuals do not necessarily have to be able to maintain their sobriety. Their mental health symptomology is not necessarily under control, and so landlords or supportive housing that is going to embrace that instead of discharge them when they're not, or release them from their housing when they're not doing well.
One of the things that I'd like us to pursue I'm not in charge of this, but something that dawns on me is that with the Douglas County Housing Authority, that they have the know-how and have done a terrific job in providing housing throughout the area, mostly outside the city limits, but they get annexed frequently. But I'd like us to talk to Douglas County Housing Authority to see if there's something that they could help us with this kind of housing. And I don't mean that it has to be, some sort of housing that's placed in a neighborhood that gets controversial. But I do think there's some opportunities to do some things to find housing for people, because if they don't have a roof over their head, this just, to me, is one of the first things that breaks down, if they don't have that. So I'll do some pursuing of that, and I'll drag you into it, and you'll be so pleased to have some meetings with the Housing Authority, I'm sure.
Be glad to do so. And there are several programs that we do work with in the community that provide supportive housing to individuals.
I'll make an appointment and come over and talk to you about that, because I need to be better informed on that. I do want to say I really appreciate the work that you're doing. It's really, it's showing wonderful results, and I think it's due in large part to your personality, your dedication, and your belief in what you're doing. So I appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks. Trustee Borgerson.
Terry, on the day treatment, where you, even items E and then the 86%, the ones that went back in the hospital, are we tracking what the issue was? Is it a medication issue? Is it a situational issue?
I'm going to ask Mike to, we're not tracking that?
I mean, we can go back and find out.
Okay. So we have the charts, and we can go back and do that, and that's something that we can look at beginning to track to look at the recidivism and the trigger for that.
Yeah. I mean,
we know the reason. It's not something that we've set aside and said this percentage, like 3%, is due to non-compliance with medication, or so we can do that.
Right. And then back on when we first started the HMA recommendations, the one of the goals was to reach a 10 patient per day. And if I look back at our workload, even back to the 2013-14, we haven't quite reached that yet. But to Commissioner Boyle's point, have we, since we are working so much more closely with corrections, is there an opportunity there to have those individuals that, when they, upon discharge, would be put in our day treatment program, and then we would maybe track the success rate of those individuals not recidivizing back to the corrections facility, maybe not the hospital, but the corrections facility. So I don't know, I mean, I know we're working close, but I don't know if we've actually centered on that issue of trying to get them discharged right into our day treatment program, and that may be something we want to take a look at.
I think that's a great idea. We have done that probably once or twice in the last year. And so what I will do is set up a meeting with the correction staff and Mike, and we can work on establishing a more formal protocol for that. I think that's a great idea. Okay. Any other questions about day treatment? No. I know it's not part of our HMA recommendation, but just I gave the board a quick update yesterday on a specific individual who has been in our intensive case management program, which is the program that Region 6 funds fully to serve Douglas, Sarpy, and Washington County Jail, specific 19 to 24 years of age, individuals who've completed their sentence and then are coming out into the community to work on recidivism. We started working several years ago with a young man, and he was probably close to 19 or 20, who was consistently in and out of Washington County Corrections. The family had reached out for support. He had psychiatric care, he had a therapist, and he just kept going back into corrections. A lot of destruction of property, multiple calls on a regular basis out to the family home. So we started working with him. We had a couple of extremely rough months, probably the first 6 months or so. And I saw him at a focus group a few months ago and did not even recognize him. I asked the staff, I said, who's that over there? And they told me, and I really honestly couldn't believe it. I'd been out to the family home, seen the family home, and he's now living on his own in an apartment. His mom is his guardian, so he's doing very, very well, gone from living in an extremely unkept place to a fairly well-kept apartment. and he's actually getting ready to be discharged from our program. I asked the staff about him on Friday because I just like to check up on him, and they said he's doing very well. So I think that's something that really shows that intensive case management model and corrections and how that can help with the recidivism. I'm very thankful that the region fully funds that program for those 3 counties. The one caveat is that we can't serve individuals over the age of 25. And if ever in the future we could expand that to be able to reach individuals that are over the age of 25, I think we would see the same type of benefit. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Indeed, the collaboration between the Community Mental Health Center and the jail, the whole criminal justice system, I mean, there is such great potential there, and we're so excited to see what can develop from that.
Yeah,
it's
we
a
are
very
too.
good thing.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sherry.
Is there any citizen comments for the Board of Trustees regarding the HMA update? I neglected to ask for the roll call when we started. Just make a note that we're all here, if you would, Jen. And with that, we will adjourn as the Board of Trustees, and I turn the floor back over to our real chair, Marianne Borgeson.
Thank you, Chair Duda. The next agenda we'll go to is the agenda for the Douglas County Board of Equalization. And we'll give a few seconds here to get the switcheroonie.
Motion to reconvene.
And what?
Shouldn't we have a motion to reconvene?
So we don't need one, but we can get a motion to reconvene.
I'll second.
Commissioner Boyle, Commissioner Kavanaugh, Commissioner Duda, Commissioner Kraft, Commissioner Morgan, Commissioner Rogers, Madam Chair.
Yes. And now we are in the Douglas County Board of Equalization. Roll call.
Commissioner Boyle, Commissioner Kavanaugh, Commissioner Duda, Commissioner Kraft, Commissioner Morgan, Commissioner Rogers, Madam Chair.
Here. Item A, approval of the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting held Tuesday, March 24th, 2015. And item B, call for a meeting and set Tuesday, April 14th, 2015 as the date for hearing on certified assessment corrections reflecting the addition of omitted property to the tax rolls or increased value on property. Is there a second? Any questions or comments? Please vote.
Motion passes.
Citizen comments. Is there anyone in the chamber wishing to speak to the Board of Equalization about an item not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to resolutions. There are resolutions D through H. Is there, Commissioner Boyle?
I just want to ask a couple questions about F.
F? Okay.
I'm curious, when I look at the list, it isn't really real clear about, particularly with the SIDs, what it is that we are, they're outlots, I guess, that we're exempting from, what are we doing with this? Exempting them from taxation?
Mike Goodwillie, Douglas County Assessor's Register of Deeds Office. Yes, we are. These are governmentally owned pieces. We believe they qualify under 77202, the portion of exemption law that deals with governmentally owned property that these SIDs have acquired.
Okay. All right, and they can't sell these lots, right?
They're really mostly little bitty pieces and parts kind of between the road and the back end of somebody's property. I can't imagine why anybody in their right mind would buy one.
Somebody who likes slopes, I don't know.
What's that?
Nothing. Okay, and the Board of Regents, we've got 708 South Saddle Creek Road for $160,000. That's land?
Yes.
That they're intending to develop?
It's going to be part of the Med Center.
Good deal. Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the resolutions D through H?
So move.
Any other questions or comments? Does that include adjournment?
Yes.
Please vote.
Madam Chair, I apologize. I thought we were...
I know.
Yeah, okay.
I know.
Motion passes.
We will now move back into the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. Item A, approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held Tuesday, March 24th, 2015. And item B, approval of claims submitted for payment through Tuesday, April 7th, 2015. Any questions or comments? Please vote.
Motion passes.
Next is the consent agenda, items A through J, with a note that A has been laid over.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Please vote.
Motion passes.
Citizen comments. Is there anyone in the chamber wishing to speak to the Board of Commissioners about an item not on the agenda?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, I'm Evance Phillips-Soash. I'd like to speak about my grandson, Giovanni Phillips. He was in Alpha School back in January, and he was suspended from that school. He came home one night about 6 o'clock in the evening with scrapes and areas on his face, open areas. He said he was taken down, is what he called it. I took pictures of it.
Ms. Phillips, can you speak into the microphone? I can't hear you real well.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. It's my fault.
All right.
Thank you.
He called it that he was taken down. It got so bad that he didn't want to go back to the school. The caseworker came, and she called the police to encourage him to go back to school. He was up, dressed. He just couldn't quite make the move. He now resides in a place in Michigan called Lakeside. I just came from there. The state paid for me to go and visit him, and I'm thankful that I was able to see him. Every time he moves, there's been a change. There's something very wrong here. I'm asking that someone look into this. There's something very wrong. I was sitting here, and just off the top of my head, in Lakeside, they think that he's been in 4 placements. Off the top of my head, he's been in at least 18 placements that I just, off the top of my head. Caseworkers, he's had 8 that I can recall. I think if I looked through my paperwork, I could probably find more. The only stability that this child has had in his life is me and a GAL that he had over this period of time. When he moved to Michigan, he received another diagnosis. All the diagnoses, all this time, and he gets there and he gets this new big diagnosis. They say it's bipolar. It worries me because all of the psychiatrists and all of the medical people that he saw here in Omaha never gave him that diagnosis. I never saw it on any paperwork, never heard it from anyone. And it just, I don't know if that's why they sent him there. It's strange that we can take care of people with Ebola, but we can't take care of people with bipolar. Listening to the lady speaking about mental health, there's a lot to be done in mental health, and there's a lot of money involved in mental health, I'm sure, you know, but people need to make sure that that is exactly what's going on. This child has been railroaded through the system from the time he was 1 month into 8 years old, moved around. I don't really get to hear from him very often. I'm supposed to get a call once a week on Monday. I've missed 3 Mondays in a row. Yesterday I didn't get a call. It's just been very erratic, and they're trying to take away his mother's parental rights, his father's rights. He's incarcerated, and I still don't have my guardianship back that was taken away several years ago, and no one seems to understand why that happened. And I'm afraid for my grandson's life. I'm afraid something sinister is going on here, and it needs to be looked into.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Boyle?
Ms. Phillips? Ms. Phillips? Thank you for coming this morning. I'd like to ask you if you can you tell us, what is it that you would like us to do? It's such a...
I don't understand why he has to be in Michigan.
I don't either.
It hurts because everything was fine. Everything seemed to be going very well until he divulged some information. He said that his guardian ad litem and a caseworker had done something very inappropriate to him. And after that, everything went downhill, and then he had to be moved. And I'm concerned for his life. And I love him.
Right.
And that's all.
Well, I'm familiar with this case, and I was shocked to find that out, and that he was in Michigan. And from my observations in your home, Christmas Day, I saw how he responded to you, how you responded to him,
yes.
and your sister,
yes.
And his grandfather, step-grandfather.
Yes. I love him.
He is a very intelligent young man. He was playing chess, and he kept calling me mayor, and he turned to me and he said, very respectful.
He's a great kid.
He said, Mayor, would you like to play chess? And I said, Giovanni, I have a hard time with checkers. So. But he's a very bright young man.
Yes.
He had a telescope that he was a real good telescope.
Mm-hmm.
He had a microscope.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the child is very intelligent.
He is.
And so I don't know whether, to me, he's very bright.
Yes.
And I think he would thrive at home with you. And I just wish there was something that we could do to make that come about.
Know.
I saw how he responded to you, and I saw it firsthand. I was there for hours.
It's been a nightmare. I'm a nurse, and I'm aware I've worked mostly with mental health. This thing basically knocked me out of that arena. I've had to put all my attention into seeing what's going on with him. This system has taken my whole family away from me.
Yes.
28 years, married to one man. Get away from him or you're not going to get your grandson back. Your daughter can't come around. I mean, even telling us that we can't go to church. It's too invasive. It's something very wrong here. And not having legal counsel. So...
Well, I think there's been a lot of interference in your family,
mm-hmm.
and I don't know.
Yes.
I think one of the things, Commissioner Boyle, we might want to do is let's have a conversation with Julie Rogers, the state general inspector now. There's an office on this.
Yes.
And Kim Havacati.
Okay.
And just start there. Let us start there.
That would be
have
great.
a conversation.
Good.
Because I'm very worried for his life. The people up there don't even have a clue. The people that are in charge of him think that he's been in 4 placements. I'm like, 4?
And that is one of the things we've been concerned about as a board is the out-of-home placements, not only out-of-home placements, but out-of-state placements.
Exactly.
And while those have been reduced, not only just in Douglas County, but statewide, it's still not to a point where it's good enough for us.
Yes.
And so that causes us concern as well, children going to facilities that we know nothing about. So
I think a lot of untruths have been told, and I just wish the truth would come out.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
A lot of untruths about that child and possibly my family. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Well, I thank you again for coming. I do want to say, too, I've had conversations with juvenile court judges, and just because we ask questions, just because we invite and encourage people to come to the podium and talk about these problems does not mean we don't support the juvenile court bench.
Exactly.
I am puzzled by these out-of-home placements in Michigan. I don't know what that gets us, and I don't know what it gets the child. I don't understand that. But it's not possible for us to make an inquiry of the judges straightforward. So that's a problem. But Commissioner Borgerson's come up with some excellent ideas, and we'll follow through on that.
Thank you all.
it's good.
I will look into the Alpha School thing as well. That facility is overseen by the Region 6 Governing Board, and so I will personally take a look at that one.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
With that, we have a presentation, the MAPA, the Region Vision and or for the Heartland 2050. I am asking that this be laid over for 2 weeks. Commissioner Morgan and I met with Greg Ewell from MAPA yesterday, and he's going to have some further discussions with especially Doug, with Doug, and yeah, I know there's people here who want to talk on it, but he's going to have some further conversations about some issues that were brought up so that Commissioner Morgan and I feel a little bit more comfortable that those issues have been addressed and we're getting all the information. And so timing-wise, schedules have to be met, and then we don't meet next week, so we're going to lay it over for 2 weeks. But I know there are people here who want to speak, and so I am going to have them speak today. So if you want to come forward. Commissioner Morgan?
For some reason, my request to speak wasn't going on.
It's on now. Yep.
Okay. The other thing I was going to mention for those here that he did mention that he has meetings coming up with the city, some of the other officials approving his plan, so I think that's a healthy thing, and he was very receptive to that idea also to do the 2 weeks and hopefully resolve it.
Yep. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Mike Fagan. I live in Elkhorn, Nebraska. I am a member of the Nebraska Taxpayers for Freedom, and I would like to speak to this Heartland Regional Compact, or Agenda 21. First, I'd like to thank all of you for serving us, we the people. We definitely appreciate the efforts that you put forth on behalf of we the people. And you're to be commended for the work that you do, and without you, it would be a big mess out there. So, coming in here today, I was asked, somebody looked at me and said, "Hey, are you a Johnny Cash fan? You're in total black." And so some of you still know who Johnny Cash is. Yeah. But I'm in black for a given reason. I think it's a black day when I, as a citizen of the United States of America, have to come here to address this board on an issue called Agenda 21. Agenda 21 is a UN agenda. And folks, we said the Pledge of Allegiance here earlier this morning, and it says, "I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America," which I do. But I do not pledge allegiance to the UN flag. And I think anything dealing with UN has no place in our community. I think it's ridiculous that we're even looking at this stuff. If you really delved into this, this goes back to the Clinton era, and it's not the way I think Americans want to live. I think it ought to be put out to the public if there's going to be anything going on with this agenda. With that said, I don't have anything else to say until 2 weeks from now, but I will be back here in 2 weeks because UN has no place in Omaha or Douglas County. Thank you.
Thank you for your time and comments. Anyone else wishing to speak? With that, I would ask for a motion to lay over for 2 weeks. Is there a second?
Second.
Please vote. Yes, Commissioner Boyle.
Thanks, Sam. We do have two handouts we received, and if you have other information, particularly about Agenda 21, I'd be very interested in seeing that in this interim. If you could email it to the county board, disseminate it. I'm curious about what that is.
Yeah, even if it's easier for you to take it over to the commissioner's office and give it to Karen or Sharon there, they could email it to us, so that saves you trying to get all our emails when you're leaving. And thank you. Is that okay,
Yeah.
Mike?
Oh, yes, that's great. These are very readable, very to the point, easy to understand. So that'd be great. Thank you very much.
Okay. With that, we do have a public hearing for a license for beer, wine, distilled spirits for Bashar Restaurant Group, Inc., DBA Red Savory Pizza at 3510 North 167th Circle. And the applicant is Matthew Bashara of 18723 Hanson Street. Is there anyone here wishing to speak for or against this liquor license during the public hearing? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. What is the will of the board?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Please vote.
Motion passes.
Next, we'll move to committees, the first being the budget report from the Commissioner Morgan or Kavanaugh. Is there anything you want to point out, or is it just as presented?
Well, right after the meeting, and I think we have an executive session, but within 15 minutes, 20 minutes of that, my hope would be we'd go up to 9:03 for our budget meetings. And today we have fees and contracts, the risk insurance, I believe, the Commissioner's office. Joe, what am I leaving out?
Administrative offices, in general, it's all the groups that report into what I call the commissioners' groups.
So I hope the commissioners can attend that. And I've been talking to Joe, and we do have definitely some challenges ahead in working on a budget without a mill levy increase, but I think all of us are committed to doing everything we can to try to avoid a mill levy increase. So that's where we are.
All right, there is one item, an increased appropriation to the following general fund department, the Juvenile Justice Collective Impact. This is for funding of salaries and expenses for fiscal year 14-15 for the fourth quarter startup.
Motion to approve.
Any questions or comments? Please vote.
Motion passes.
Next, we'll move down to Human Resources. The first item is the weekly personnel report from Civil Service as presented. If there are no questions or comments, we'll move to the item 2, weekly CAO assault report.
Nothing to report.
And next is the legislative issues. In your packet is our report, and if there are any questions or comments or any other items anyone would like to speak on. If not, we do have need for an executive session for union negotiation.
Litigation and negotiations.
Negotiation. Okay.
Could I add personnel?
Personnel. Okay. With that, is there a motion to?
So move.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Please vote.
Commissioner Morgan?
Getting like Kavanaugh.
Motion
That's
passes.
a bad thing.
It shouldn't take maybe 20, 25.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Ah, 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 Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. For spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. For spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. For spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Ah, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Ah, spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Out of every 3 Americans lives with this. Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Wyatt. Coming up on the next edition of Consider This, obesity. Often perceived as a cosmetic challenge, an Omaha woman tells us being overweight goes much deeper than that. Join us.
Omaha Public School students can learn.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruit fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves.
Motion to reconvene and adjourn? No, I don't. Okay, second.
Motion passes.